What's up guys, Nick here from Find Your Grind. Each week, Dingo and I will be bringing you brand new topics on what's going on with learning, education, and the future of work. Let's get into it. All right, so what's going on at Google? Dingo, what's happening over there at that place called Google? You know Google?
I love Google.
Okay, you've heard of it? You've heard of it?
I've heard of Google.
Okay.
Google's hit the nail on the head, and this is something we've been talking about for a long time.
Yeah.
At Find Your Grind, we've been talking about doing shortened courses for degrees.
Yes.
And Google has come out with, Google has a plan to disrupt your college degree. Google has come out with Google, you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Google Certificate.
Yes.
Google's new certificate program takes only 6 months to complete and will be a fraction of the cost of college. This is something we've been saying for a long time.
I think it's rad.
Google recently made a huge announcement that could change the future of work and higher education. It's launching a selection of professional courses that each candidate on how to perform in demand jobs.
I think this is so rad because one, it's shortening the amount of time that going through the same 4-year process that we've gone through with colleges.
We've been saying this for a long time.
I know, and just like post-secondary education of like, the 4-year thing is traditional, right? And we want to start to break the rules, especially with what we're doing with our company, Find Your Grind. So like the fact that Google is literally breaking such a big rule to shorten the time frame and to get people degrees within 6 months is rad.
Google didn't say exactly how much the courses would cost, but similar program Google offers online platform courses for $49. So basically saying a 6-month course would cost about $300.
I think that's awesome, man, what they're doing. Like I have some stats that recently stuck with me pretty hardcore is that 25% of students now have a huge anxiety over the affordability of college. So kids that were about to go into college over this 4-year plan, 25% of students now have that new anxiety riding on their shoulders, right? Which makes a ton of sense. 40% of kids that go through the 4-year degree in college don't actually end up using that degree for what they do in work. So almost half the kids that go to college to get the degree that they're supposed to do don't even use the degree they got. And lastly, 65% of kids feel that they aren't prepared for their first job, which is another crazy statistic too of just like, man, 65% of people really don't feel prepared for the first thing that they do. It's probably because they're guessing and just jumping into the first thing that comes to them, right? So I think I love what Google's doing just because it's changing the game. It's shortening the time frame. It's allowing someone to be, someone coming in the door going, this is what I want to learn something at, and give it to me in 6 months and let me go out into the workforce with this new skill that I've developed through Google, or something that I already had a skill in, but I'm just refining it and just shoot out the door into something they love to do.
All right, here's something for you. Lessons for business. Although traditional degrees are still deemed necessary in fields like law and medicine, more and more employees have signaled that no longer view them must have. Apple, IBM, and Google, just to name a few, you don't need a degree to work for the biggest companies in the world.
That's rad. Super cool.
Apple's the first $1 trillion company here in America. You don't need a degree to work for Apple.
I
do agree that if you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor or create an economy on Mars,
of course,
be in school for 9 years.
Yeah.
I have never done any sort of course or any type of degree of any sort, and I've been working since I was a teenager.
I know.
So I'm sitting here and I've been saying to you, and you're the same, that like there needs to be, yes, you need degrees to certain things, but there needs to be smaller points and fine print. If IBM's going to sit here or Google's going to sit here or Apple's going to sit here and say, hey, in the next 5 years, we're going to give 50,000 jobs to these degrees, but you only need these to know this, this, and this, and this. I think it's, again, genius and smart and a way to get kids working. It's not about having the college experience. Listen, the college experience, in my mind, is gone. The 4 years of partying and doing the hooray, hurrah. Get the basics and let's get these kids working again, and let's figure out what the jobs of the future are, and let's get our kids working now.
I think it's cool that like such large corporations are taking responsibility to shape what the future of work looks like.
Thank you, Google.
You know what I'm saying?
This is the tip of the iceberg.
Of course.
Thank you, Google.
Yeah, like companies like ours with Find Your Grind, we're doing the exact same thing. We want to help shape the future of work. We want to help prepare the next generation for what's ahead. We want to help show the possibilities and careers of the future and help people really understand themselves to be able to pinpoint the direction they want to go and not waste time. And that the fact that corporations like Google are kind of paving the way, it's not like we're looking to Harvard, or we're looking to these Ivy League schools to be like the way into your first thing, into your first opportunity. Now we're looking to the big corporations like Google and Amazon and, you know, Microsoft, and you know what I'm saying? To help pave the way, which is rad.
Let me leave you with this. Remember, nowadays it's all about the skills, not degrees.
Yep.
Because if there's anything this pandemic has taught us, it's the importance of maximizing ROI on both time and money. And that's in an area where universities have been failing for a very, very long time. Return on investment, and you're not getting an ROI on college degrees.
Well, yeah. How do you measure your ROI? And that was a great final point, but how do you measure your ROI with your college degree? You can't measure it. And I think parents are waking up to that. I think young kids are waking up for that, realizing that like the debt they have to carry on in order to get this. What is the ROI? That's a great question to ask yourself if you're thinking about going to get a degree or going to college. Is like, what is your ROI? Why are you going to spend 4 years of your life? If we're lucky,
sometimes 8, because a lot of these kids have been getting a degree and they haven't gone back for another 4 years to get a degree because the first degree, there's two, they couldn't get a job.
100%.
8 years. 8 years in today's time, forget about it.
Yeah.
We need to start focusing on the kids that have talents in high school to sending them straight into the workforce.
Yes.
And again, thank you, Silicon Valley, for doing what you're doing and clearing it out. Clear it out. Let them know that if you're intelligent, you can go get a job now and you can build your own future. You don't need to give your money to these people that are...
100%. We're all great at something. You know what I mean? It's just about identifying that as soon as you can to start shaping the way that you want to move, you know? And like, shout out to Google. I like that article.
My screen died, so I think that's a wrap.